Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to explain how you can price your consulting services for more profit, more scale, and ultimately to allow you to live the kind of life that you want. So many guys are stuck in a business that they started to get freedom, but they're not charging enough money. And so they're not making enough profit to even really live the lifestyle that they want. And so in this video, I'm going to be explaining how I approach pricing, what you need to know, what you need to avoid. And this is all coming from my own experience in running my own business, which is a multi-7-figure agency which has a consulting arm. I've also worked with dozens and dozens of 7, 8, and even 9-figure coaches and consultants on their content strategy and their monetization systems. And so I've also seen behind the scenes of their businesses and listened to their advice on a weekly basis. And so I'm going to instill a little bit of that advice into you today. I got my notes here. I like to do these raw. I don't like to overly edit. I don't like to use, what's the word, like a teleprompter, nothing like that. This is all raw edited. If you can't watch that kind of thing, then don't watch. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to understand is the place that you should not be is in the low charging hell. Okay. I think so many consultants, they get stuck in this trap of charging, a couple $100 for phone calls or little piecemeal pieces of advice here and there. Or they have like 100 different PDFs with all their different bits of knowledge that are like $20 each, or you're just never going to be able to make money that way, right? You're stuck in low charging hell. You have low prices. You have low LTV, lifetime value, and you have no leverage. Okay. Now, the opposite of all these things is what we want. We want to be able to charge high ticket prices and get them. Okay. We want to have a long LTV. We want to close a client once and have them pay us for a very, very long time, months and months or years and years. And we want to create leverage so that we actually or the client rather has a negative for getting rid of us out of their business. Okay. We want to create that leverage point where when we are working with the client, it allows us to work with them for a long time. And if they stop working with us, it's actually detrimental to them. So we need to create a leverage point inside of our business. Okay. So the first thing we need to know is that in order to charge more money, we need to establish our credibility. Credibility. Spell that correctly. Now, a lot of people, and I see this in sort of the guru space, is they say, charge higher prices, charge more. But charging more doesn't always work because people who you're pitching a price to, they think, I don't see the value. I don't trust that you can get me the results. I don't even know who you are if you're coming off like a cold ad or a cold email or whatever it may be. And so they don't believe that you are even worth that money because you don't have the credibility. Now, for example, if someone that they looked up to in the world, like whoever it may be, if there was a fitness guy that they looked up to, and that guy came to them and said, pay me X amount of money and you can get in the shape that I'm in, they would say, yes, here's my money, take my money. And they wouldn't even second guess it, right? That price could be 100 grand even, and they might even be happy to pay that because the deliverer of that message was different. Okay. Someone with credibility versus someone without credibility. So when you have credibility, you can charge whatever it is that you want and you can get that kind of price. Okay. Now, the way we do that, the way we get more credibility is by becoming visible. Okay. If you're not visible, no one will ever know that you are credible. Now, you could be credible. You could be the most ethical person to do business with. You could get the best results. You could have the best quality product. You could have all the best things. But if nobody knows that, then that credibility simply just does not get communicated to them. Okay. It's like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, it does make a sound, but no one can verify it. Okay. No one knows that you have credibility if you can't be seen. So you need to increase your visibility in the world. And there's many ways you can do that, obviously through ads, through cold email, through DMs, through all these things. But these all have their negatives. The number one thing that builds the absolute most credibility is content. It's personal brand. Now, the reason that is because people consume this content voluntarily. With an ad, you're forcing it in front of them. With a cold email, you're forcing it and invading their inbox. With a cold DM, you're invading their inbox as well. With content, it's something that gets shown to them. They voluntarily follow you. They voluntarily like your content and interact with it. And they voluntarily keep watching and indoctrinate themselves with everything that you say. Okay. And so that is what builds the biggest amount of credibility. It's because you're creating content that positions you as an expert, positions you as the number one guy, and that gets you visibility. And therefore, it communicates to the viewer and to the potential client that you have credibility. And you're proving that credibility throughout the entire process of making content. Now, the way we do this with content is in three ways. There are three types of content. There's top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. Now, excuse my handwriting because I know it sucks. Now, top of funnel content is to get views. Middle funnel is to nurture. And bottom of funnel is to sell. Okay. Now, top of funnel content is you have to understand that there is different levels of awareness of topics, right? Which is just plain and simple. If you were really interested in vintage tractors, there's probably not that many people in the world that could speak so deeply about vintage tractors, right? But if you talk to somebody about getting on a bus, everybody knows about getting on a bus, right? So they're both vehicles, they're both modes of transportation, but one of them nobody knows about because it's hyper niche, and the other side everybody knows. So if we extrapolate that into kind of, market terms or, specific terms for you, there's really three levels of awareness for topics. There's the industry level, there's the market level, there's the niche level. I'm actually going to modify this slightly. Let's say there's four. This is mass market. Now, mass market is like Kim Kardashian, right? If someone's talking about Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian, politics, whatever, that's mass market. That is a topic that literally everybody knows about, okay? We don't want to be there. But this also gives you the most virality. If you have to understand that the higher up you go in this awareness cycle, the more viral you can go, the more visibility you can get. But also as the higher you go up, the lower quality the viewer is because you're tapping into the general population that doesn't know, specifically about your thing. So we don't want to be up here unless we're selling some kind of mass market e-commerce product. Then it's beneficial to be in the mass market. Then we have the industry level. Okay. This could be, say, for example, marketing, right? Marketing as a whole, or e-commerce or online sales as a whole. We're talking the big overall ceiling to the topic. Then within that, we have marketing, which could be the sub-sector of the industry, which could be online advertising or the info product sector. So that could be the market level. And then in your niche, you have your specific niche, which could be literally anything, right? It could be whatever your niche is, underwater basket weaving or, selling courses on whatever. I'm not going to be able to come up with a niche as we speak, but you have to understand that there are different awareness levels, okay, to content. And this is where top of funnel content comes in, because we want our top of funnel content to be within these two sections. They can be within the industry level and they can be within the market level. Okay, let me get that a bit thicker. Top of funnel can be here, okay? And that's because we want the absolute most amount of views as possible on top of funnel. That's the only reason we do top of funnels, to get more views. We're not trying to sell. We're not trying to establish credibility. We're trying to get views. Now, middle of funnel content is the nurture content. This is going to sit primarily inside niche and tap in a little bit into market, but primarily it'll sit inside the niche level of awareness. This is where we are happy for it to get less views because we know we're creating it for a more niche audience. We're happy for it to get less views, but we don't mind because what we're doing is explaining our expertise. We're explaining what we know about. We're demonstrating live in front of their face that this dude knows what he's talking about. Okay. That's where this falls into. And the third kind of content is bottom of funnel. Now, this is not even inside the awareness. It's just simply a destination of where everything goes, which is here. And that's to make money. Okay. Now, bottom of funnel is selling content. That is Instagram stories, posts, CTAs, running ads, CTAs in your captions, CTAs in your live streams, CTAs in carousels, literally anywhere you could possibly have a call to action, whether it's a direct call to action or it's hidden within a piece of content, that is bottom of funnel. This is how we get visibility and therefore credibility, is by producing this 3 types of content. Top of funnel to get views, middle of funnel to nurture and shorten that sales cycle, build the trust, bottom of funnel to sell. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to know is we want to be selling the right kind of product. Now, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people are stuck in low charging hell with low prices, low LTV, and no leverage. And that's because you guys don't position your product the way it should be. I have a client and he sold a business for multi-millions of dollars. And in terms of revenue, after he left that company, it grew even further into a multi-9-figure company. And he has all this knowledge. He built the foundation, he built the systems, built the teams. And he was still charging something like, I think it was like $297 a month for consulting. I literally couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that someone that had that kind of experience was charging $300 a month to get his advice. That's literally insane. He has tens of millions of dollars of knowledge literally in his brain that he was giving away for $297. Okay. So we never, ever, ever want to be selling this low ticket crap. Okay. We always want to be packaging our offers in a high ticket wrapper. And the most important part of that is selling the outcome rather than the deliverable. Okay. So a lot of consultants, they'll say, yeah, I will give you a 30-minute phone call. That's the deliverable. The outcome is, what is your problem? Okay. You are buying from me this solution. And when you frame it like that, especially when you know what the problem is, how much pain it's causing, how much money it's costing them, how much time it's costing, then you know exactly how much that person believes your solution is worth. You already know how much it's worth, but you need to be able to communicate it to them how much they believe it's worth. And once they're aware that the problem they have is potentially costing them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars or even more, then that gives you an idea of what you can actually charge. Okay. So we only ever want to be charging high ticket prices. Now, as a side note, let me just make a side note. I'm not fully opposed to doing paid consulting calls, because a lot of times paid consulting calls are just people who want to test out your knowledge on a slightly less commitment level before paying a high ticket price, right? You just have to make sure that that price is actually, worth it. So you might charge like $1,000 for a call. I've paid thousands of dollars for single phone calls plenty of times and ended up paying that guy anyway for his high ticket offer in the end, right? So you can do calls. You could do calls just as a little side offer, but I'm not saying that should be your main moneymaker, right? That's just a nice little acquisition way. Your products, your program should always be high ticket. And I like to structure these in 3 ways. I like to do it in silver, gold, and platinum tiers. Now, each of these have progressively higher price points and progressively more access and attention to detail, right? So this is a AAA, AA, single A. So silver is this could be your lowest tier of access. This could be anywhere from $1,000 to $7,000 for some kind of course or a group program, whatever it may be. They don't get one-on-one calls with you. It could be group calls, it could be group texts, things of that nature. But people should not be able to take your time. You can then upsell those people or just bring people in off the bat on a gold offer, which could be anywhere from 10K to 30K. And this is usually more of a one-on-one thing. If someone's going to be paying 10K to 30K for X amount of weeks to achieve X goal at the end of everything, they're going to expect a deeper level of access, which is totally understandable. So you want to charge 10K to 30K. Timelines and, deliverables, etc., can be adjusted case by case basis, but in general, you want to charge more money upfront for more one-on-one access. And then finally, we have the platinum tier, which is going to be our biggest clients, of course. Now, obviously, at each tier, your client base gets smaller and smaller. You have the most amount at silver. It's like a little pyramid, You have the most amount of clients at silver, you have the second most at gold, and then you have the least volume of clients at platinum level, okay? But with platinum, you may only have between 1 and 5 platinum clients at a time, but they will be people that have a 6-figure per year income for you. They will pay you 6 figures per year. Now, this could be anywhere between, and you can structure these deals any way you like, but they're always going to be higher paid. They could be a full year worth of service upfront. You could do a done-for-you program, a done-for-you offer that has a large retainer of between 10 and 20K per month, plus a percentage of revenue that you generate for that client or that you help them generate. Or you may set milestones like, hey, it's 10 to 20K per month. When you make X, you pay us Y, whenever that may be. But what we're looking for here is 6-figure per year, or at the very least, a 6-figure LTV. That might be 6 figures over the course of 2 years. They might be paying you 50, 60, 70K per year, but it's a long-term contract and you can keep them for a long time and renew them. I've had many clients that have stayed with me for 3, 4 years, have paid me multi-6 figures in that time frame. And so you want to be making sure that you have an offer in place where when you do bring on a whale client, they are going to be, you're going to have something to offer them where you can actually charge a lot of money. Okay. So this is how we structure everything. Okay. We need to make sure that we have credibility, which is achieved through visibility, which we achieve through our 3 types of content. Okay. When we have that visibility and that credibility, then we always want to be positioning our offers through outcomes instead of deliverables, always framing it around the problem and offering the solution to a painful problem or a high cost problem. So we can charge high ticket at 1 of 3 price points: silver, gold, or platinum. 1 to 7K for silver, 10 to 30K for gold, and 6-figure per year plus or 6-figure LTV for platinum. So hopefully that was useful for you. If you want to work with me one-on-one, just check the description. You won't regret it. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.